Ja.
Ja. Also von der Grammatik her gibt es nichts Neues zu lernen. Grammar part is over, it's no vocabulary. Ne? Basically what we're doing. So Vokabular und Vokabeln und Wortschatz kann man auch alleine zu Hause machen. Ja, now mein Bildschirm.
Sir, besides haben wir gegen 10.000 Worten gelernt? Bis C1?
Nee, C1 ist etwa 6.000 bis 8.000 dazwischen.
6.000 nur in C1?
Ja.
Insgesamt. In C1?
Insgesamt. Ja, ich spreche von dem aktiven Wortschatz. Von dem aktiven Wortschatz. Es gibt einen passiven Wortschatz und es gibt auch einen aktiven Wortschatz. Ich spreche von dem aktiven Wortschatz. Von dem aktiven Wortschatz ist etwa 5.000. Passiv ist natürlich viel mehr. Passiver Wortschatz bedeutet Wörter, die wir verstehen oder aus dem Kontext erschließen können, aber nicht verwenden. Und aktiver Wortschatz bedeutet Wörter, die wir aktiv verwenden können. Und normalerweise verwenden auch. Yeah, so when you look at it from there, then aktiver Wortschatz ist natürlich weniger als passiver Wortschatz. So what I'm giving you, the number is aktiver Wortschatz. About 5.000. Da ist jemand da. Moment, wo ist denn hier? Wer? Achel ist hier. So.
Ist C1 New Wörter sind tagliche Wörter oder Romana Wörter?
Nein, die sind alltägliche Wörter.
Alltäglich? Oh.
Ja, das ist ein alltäglicher Wortschatz. Also, im Alltag sprechen wir über allerlei Themen. Ne? We talk about all kinds of themes.
But in case of English, no, sir. In case of English, I think I'm B2 level. Hello, sir?
Yeah, even here it should be C1, but if you look at this book hier, wir haben so viele unterschiedliche Themen in diesem Buch. There's so many topics here which are different. If you just look at the contents page. Aren't those topics different in the contents page? There was something about law, kriminell, dann Persönlichkeiten, dann an die Arbeit gehen, dann Wirtschaft, gesund und munter, das haben wir auch ausführlich diskutiert. Was ist dann Gesundheit? Und hier fast am Ende des Buches über, was weiß ich, also diese Erinnerungen, Gedächtnis und Gehirn. Also das sind alltägliche Themen. Und ich habe euch dann auch versprochen, wir diskutieren ganz kurz einige Märchen der Brüder Grimm. Diese zwei Gebrüder, Jakob Grimm und Wilhelm Grimm, so sagt die Legende, so sagt uns die Geschichte. Das war kurz nach der Französischen Revolution, also wie und warum diese Revolution auch für die deutsche Literatur wichtig ist. Da gab diese Zeit der Romantik. Also nach der Revolution kam Napoleon an die Macht in Frankreich und dann Frankreich wurde auch dann ganz, ganz mächtig und die französische Kultur war weit verbreitet, was widely spread. Und da kamen diese Leute in Deutschland auf das Gefühl, wo ist unsere Heimat? Where is our home country? Warum sollten wir französische Kultur lernen? Warum soll alles Französisch sein? Wo ist Deutschland? Wo ist meine Heimat? So, als sie dann dieses Gefühl bekommen haben, begann diese Intellektuelle nach ihrer Heimat zu suchen. I said, let's look for our own German origins. Why should we have everything foreign? So in this process, why should we read only French stories, French legends und so weiter? So gibt es keine deutsche Geschichten. So diese Suche nach nach der Identität war sehr, sehr wichtig. Und hier sind Brüder Grimm, die beiden Brüder, Jakob Grimm und Wilhelm Grimm. So sagt die Geschichte, ob das wahr ist oder nicht, weiß ich nicht. Sie gingen von Tür an Tür, von einem Haus nach dem anderen Haus, door to door, from one house to another house. Und sie haben alle diese Märchen von den Leuten dort zugehört. They told these people, tell us your stories from your childhood. So these stories were collected durch das Ohr und ins Dialekt geschrieben, wie sie erzählt wurden, as they were narrated. In the dialect, the original was written down in the dialect. Später haben diese Brüder, die Gebrüder, die Dialekte ein bisschen verarbeitet, they processed them und in Standarddeutsch oder Hochdeutsch die Märchen veröffentlicht. They published them later in normal standard German, damit alle Deutsche, also überall in Deutschland, die Märchen lesen könnten. So they could all read this. Because dialect is not easy to understand. But the original stories are in dialect. Natürlich später hat man dann sie dann weiter bearbeitet, vereinfacht für Lerner, für Anfänger. Und ich habe auch hier einige solcher Einfachformen von diesen Märchen. So, einige sind sehr, sehr berühmt. There are more than 250 such fairy tales. So, einige habe ich hier, die anderen habe ich noch nicht gefunden. Ich habe keine Zeit gehabt, danach zu suchen. So, as soon as I find them, I'll send them to you. There was also a small emergency at home, a medical emergency, so all that is now under control. So ich hatte nicht Zeit, nach diesen Märchen zu suchen. So, lesen Sie die Titel hier. Aschenputtel, Dornröschen, der Froschkönig, der gestiefelte Kater, Frau Holle, Hänsel und Gretel, Rotkäppchen, Rumpelstilzchen, Schneewittchen und Rapunzel.
So Rotkäppchen is about a witch, no? A red cap witch.
No, this is that Red Riding Hood, a small girl who meets a wolf.
And a jungle who is going to meet who are going to meet her grandmother and so, right?
Correct. That is Rotkäppchen.
Yeah.
Dann der Schneewittchen, Snow White. Also ich glaube, Abi ist jetzt da, Achal ist schon da. Oh, Achal is left, she's back again. Achal, hin und her gehen?
No, sir, I'm already there, but there is some voice problem, so I'm signing in through other phone.
Oh. So अभी यहाँ पे twin representation हो गया तुम्हारा?
Yes, sir.
Also eine Zwillingsvertretung.
Yes, sir.
So how do I address you today? Achal und Achal oder nur Achal?
Sir, whatever you like, as you wish, sir.
So फिर वो, yeah, Shah Rukh Khan style में I can say Achal, like he used to say Kiran.
That's something new, sir, and it suits you a lot.
No, not exactly. I don't stammer. Stottern, I just stolpern, stottern. I don't stammer, but I know how to stammer also. But it's not fair on people who suffer from this stammering. It's not nice to imitate them. Also, hier sind einige Märchen, also von Bildern. Do you know which one this is? Slipper wala Kani?
Cinderella?
Cinderella is correct. Cinderella is Aschenputtel.
Oh, it's Cinderella.
Mm-hmm. Because the English translation is a very good translation. Asche, das verstehen wir, das Wort. Asche, ashes. Rak. So this girl was ill-treated by her stepmother. She was made to do all the work in the kitchen in the ashes, using all that rock and dirt and everything. And since she was a small girl, puttel is a word for small girl, Ashen puttel. So the same word was translated into English as Cinderella because the English word cinders, C-I-N-D-E-R, refers to ashes.
Ashes.
Ashes, cinders.
It's not her name.
The name has come as a very nice translation of a person working in the kitchen in the ashes and in the dust. So that was the name given to the girl, cinders. And from there, Cinderella.
Anchal,
So that
Anchal, kannst du bitte Mikro aus? Danke.
yeah. And then Dornröschen, the story of a young girl who, when she was born, her father invited 12 witches to her naming ceremony, but forgot the 13th witch. Today is Friday the 13th. Forgot the 13th witch. So this 13th witch came and cursed her and said, the day this princess reaches the age of 15 or 16, she will die. And she disappears. That was a revenge on the king because she was not invited. But the 12th witch who had come, she had not yet blessed the child. So she said, I cannot remove this curse, but I can modify it. The princess will not die, but will sleep for 100 years. So she modifies that curse. And later, the story in English came to be known as the Sleeping Beauty. The actual story is Dornröschen, because when she reaches the age of 16, this girl pricks herself on the finger and falls into a deep sleep for 100 years. And with her, the entire castle goes to sleep. Everything around her goes to sleep. And a huge thorn bush grows all around the castle. And because she was as pretty as a rose and she was circled by this thorns, she came to be known as Dornröschen. Then you have this story here. Ein Frosch mit einer Krone, a frog with a crown. Der Froschkönig. The Frog Prince. And this is a story where a frog has been cursed to, a prince was cursed to live like a frog until he is kissed by a princess and then he regains his true form. And that is the story of the Frog Prince. And we, as students, when we read this story and when we were doing our MA German years back, we said there is a moral here. The moral is don't ever ignore a frog. If you see a frog by the roadside, don't ignore it. For all you know, it could be a princess also. So you should pick it up and kiss and see whether that frog becomes a princess. Then your life is made. Okay, then comes this Gestiefelte Kater. This was translated into English as Puss in Boots. It's a cat that wears high heels. So this cat can speak, and it is the cat of a poor a miller. And this cat helps this poor miller become a king. So very nice story. Then comes Frau Halle. In English also it's called Frau Halle. This is a lady who is in a magical world, and two daughters of one woman go to her by chance. The younger daughter is the pretty one. She is ill-treated by her stepmother. And while she's doing some work, she falls into a well, but she doesn't die. She goes into this magical world of Frau Halle. There, because she's a very nice person, she does every work that Frau Halle asks her to do. Und dann kommt sie zurück. And while she's coming back, she is showered with gold. So when she comes back into the real world, back to her stepmother, she's covered with gold. So now the stepsister is jealous. So she also wants this gold. So she jumps into the well, also reaches this world of Frau Halle, but refuses to do whatever Frau Halle wants this girl to do. So at the end of that time, time is immaterial in a fairy tale. She also wants to return. She comes back, and on her way out, she demands gold. She says, "You gave it to my sister, give it to me also." But Frau Halle doesn't say a word. She says, "That is the way out. Please go, and you will get your reward." So while she's going out through the door, tar falls on her, coal tar, which we use on the roads. So that falls on her head and body and everything, and she comes back home covered in tar. Hänsel und Gretel sind ein Geschwister, Bruder und Schwester. Hänsel and Gretel, they are left in the jungle by their father because their stepmother doesn't want them at home. So in the jungle, they wander around, they meet a witch who wants to cook and eat them, and she captures Hänsel, the boy, and puts him in a cage and wants to fatten him. But Gretel, the girl who's made to do all the housework, is very, very smart. And the witch keeps testing whether the boy has become fat, that is, whether he's ready for being cooked. But Gretel is very smart, and she gives her brother a thin stick. So every time the witch wants to go and check how fat he is, he puts a stick in her hands. She gets irritated. Then finally the day comes when she cannot wait anymore because she cannot see properly, the witch. So she says, "No, whether he becomes fat or not, I will cook Hänsel." So she tells Gretel to prepare the oven. Prepare him, and then I'll cook him now. You put him inside the oven and cook him and then serve him to me. So Gretel pretends that she doesn't know that. She said, "We never had one in our house, so I don't know how it is done. So you have to show me." So the witch is furious and says, "Okay, I will show you." And she shows how the oven is to be prepared. This is the heat here. Open the door, and this. Then Gretel pushes the witch into the oven, shuts the door. Brother and sister then become free, and they go back home because they're taking all the wealth which was in that witch's house. Rotkäppchen, this girl wants to see her grandmother. On the way, she meets a wolf who knows about this, and the wolf then goes and swallows the grandmother. And Rotkäppchen goes there, sees this wolf. The wolf swallows her also, but then a hunter comes along and frees both the mother and the grandmother. Rumpelstiltskin is about a person who helps a miller's daughter fulfill the wishes of a king. And in return, all he wants, the first two times she gives him a ring and a necklace. The third time, he says, "I will take your first baby," because if she were to be successful, the king says, "I'll marry you." And he does marry her. But he doesn't know this Rumpelstiltskin helped the girl. So he marries the girl. The king marries the girl. And 1 year later, when she has a baby, Rumpelstiltskin shows up and says, "Give me the baby. That was your promise. The baby is mine." But then she starts weeping and crying and sobbing on alles. Und da sagt dieser Zwerg, der Dwarf, Bona, "Nein, also weine nicht, ich gebe dir 3 Tage. I'll give you 3 days. Find out my name." So after 3 days when he comes, she tries and tries and tries and tries. No go. He said, no, that's not my name, that's not my name. Then again she starts weeping. He said, okay, I'll give you another 3 days. So again she tries. In the meantime, she collects names from all over. She hasn't told the king about it yet. Again she fails because he says, none of these are my names. And then the third time she has to tell her husband, the king, about it. He sends out guards and soldiers and everyone all around. And then the third day comes and she has got only a few names now. But she says there's nothing to be done. While she's preparing for Rumpelstiltskin's arrival, one messenger comes, very, very tired, and then he tells a story how he saw a small, tiny man in the deep jungles dancing around a fire, saying, tomorrow the princess daughter will be mine, because no one can guess that my name is Rumpelstiltskin. So when he comes to the queen's room, and she guesses the names, she deliberately gives 2 wrong names, and the third one she says, heißt du Rumpelstiltskin. And he is so angry that she has found out the name. He stamps the floor cracks, breaks up, he falls into the hole closes, story is over, and they live happily ever after. Snow White, again, again there's a witch, a stepmother who's out to kill this daughter because she's very, very pretty. The stepmother has a mirror on the wall, a magic mirror. And she keeps asking the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of them all? So once Snow White grows up, the mirror answers very truthfully, Snow White is the prettiest of all. So the witch is very, very jealous. She wants to kill Snow White. And so goes the story. Ultimately, she herself dies. Rapunzel is a story of that girl with that long hair. There's also a cartoon film that normally is shown on TV.
I've seen that. Which one?
Okay, so they're very fascinating stories, some of them. Literally, these are the so-called parikatha that we have in our languages, but ours are with a difference. And these are the German stories. So, ich habe hier einige gefunden, nicht viele. This is a vereinfachte Version, a simplified version of Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay.
Ja, I can send this to you. Ein armer Müller hatte eine schöne Tochter. Als einmal der König an seiner Mühle vorbeikam, Mill. Ja, der Mill. Erzählte ihm der Müller, meine Tochter kann Stroh zu Gold spinnen. Yeah, my daughter can make gold out of straw. सूखी घास को वो सोना बना देती है. Das war aber nicht wahr. Und der Vater wollte nur prahlen. He only wants to boast. So der König ließ die Müllerstochter in sein Schloss kommen, führte sie in eine Kammer, Chamber, voll Stroh und gab ihr ein Spinnrad. Mahatma Gandhi wala. Wenn bis morgen früh dieses Stroh nicht so gold geworden ist, musst du sterben. Dann damit verschloss er die Tür. Verschloss, lock लगा देना, ताला लगा देना. Not schließen. Schließen is only to close the door. Verschließen, to lock the door.
Okay, sir.
So das arme Mädchen weinte vor Angst. Und plötzlich öffnete sich die Tür und ein kleines Männchen kam herein. Er versprach, der Millers Tochter zu helfen. Und sie schenkte ihm dafür ihre Halskette. This is this man. A chain she gives. Und in kurzer Zeit war alles Stroh zu Gold gesponnen. Der König staunte am Morgen sehr, aber nun wollte er mehr Gold haben. So in der nächsten Nacht sollte das Mädchen wieder Gold spinnen. So wieder half ihr das Mädchen. Und sie schenkte ihm ihren Ring. Then again that entire room is full of gold. The third day the room is bigger, even bigger than the first two. And again die gleiche Aufgabe. Aber diesmal hatte sie nichts mehr ihm zu schenken. Und dann sagt er, du musst mir, wenn du verheiratet bist, dein erstes Kind mir schenken. And because she desperately needed his help, sie versprach es. So, als der König am nächsten Morgen das viele Gold sah, nahm die Müllerstochter zur Frau and so on. Then comes the child, and so goes the story. It's a very short story here. Like I said, it's a simplified version. I can send these 4 or 5 stories to you. Yeah,
A note is note.
Bitte? Note is
Yes.
emergency. The note.
Emergency, not fall. Okay.
Yeah, notfall. No?
Hmm.
She's in trouble. And this is your Rotkäppchen. That's all. Story's over. Then comes the Waterklärungen. It's a very, very short story. Very simplified. The original is longer. And then comes the Froschkönig, the Frog King. And a typical story, any fairy tale starts this way. Vor langer Zeit lebte ein König, dessen jüngste Tochter wunderschön war.
It's like once upon a time there was a king.
Yeah. These are standard opening lines in any story. And what we also have to note at the same time is when you're narrating something. Yeah, that was standard opening. Many of these stories like this. And what you have to notice here, the erzähl tempus is preteritum. Because it's a narrative, the story is in preteritum. Right? So, and the last one here, Hänsel und Gretel. Okay, so this is Hänsel and Gretel, and this is that witch. Right, and the witch, you know the word for witch in German? Hexe.
Hexe. Die Hexe.
The Hexe. Yeah, the Hexe. Yeah, and a Böse. Yeah.
Buser, right? Buser, evil.
Nee.
Buser, evil.
Evil witch. You can have good witches and you can also have evil witches.
Ah, Buser.
Die gute Hexe und die böse Hexe.
Ja, aber Hexe ist normalerweise mit Böse assoziiert. Die normale Association is normally Böse. When you say Hexe, you always think of somebody who's evil, who's ready to cast a spell on you. Jao, tum kawwe mein badal jao. Choo, and that kind of thing. Ya kutte mein badal jao or whatever.
Yeah.
This normalerweise evil. There was also a very nice story the other day on TV. I was watching it. Jitendra with Sangeeta Bijlani.
मतलब एंगर भी तो होता है ना सर बेउजा का मतलब एंगर भी तो होता है ना
हाँ, angry.
Angry.
Yeah. What was the story? Jitendra and Sangeeta Bijlani in one of these fairy tales. I can't remember the name. It had a very Muslim Urdu sounding name to it. All this Jadu Wadu and all was there in that. Satish Shah. Right, so I find these fascinating. I love such stories. Und deshalb sind auch diese Märchen so berühmt geworden.
Alif Laila.
Yeah, but that is more of a romantic story, no? But you have Alibaba.
Alibaba Chalishur.
Aladdin. So similarly, you had stories of Sindbad the sailor.
Yeah.
But these are not fairy tales. They come from the Middle East. These are stories from the Middle East, whereas these fairy tales are all from Germany. So I'll send these 4 across to you. You can enjoy reading them. Auf Deutsch. I sent you some more in English. I think I sent you a whole collection in English.
Yeah.
So take your time, and when you're in the mood, do read them. Die sind wirklich sehr, sehr faszinierend.
Und die Sprache ist einfach, richtig?
Also hier, ja, hier dieser deutsche Text, der Sprache ist sehr einfach. Der englische Text ist etwa auf ein höheres Niveau. It's not simplified English. That translation is the translation of the original German, the ones that I sent you. So the English is of the same level as the German. Yeah, so this is that Rotkäppchen, like I said. And why was he called Rotkäppchen? That is also given here. Es war einmal ein kleines Mädchen, das immer ein rotes Käppchen trug, a small red cap. Darum hieß es bei allen Leuten nur Rotkäppchen. So everyone called her Rotkäppchen.
Käppchen bedeutet Cap.
Small cap.
Small, ja.
So Rotkäppchen. So when you look at these books here, these stories here, das sind typische Märchen, deutsche Märchen. Das sind die Brüder, Jakob und Wilhelm, who is who doesn't matter now. And the Grimm-Brüder, they were the first ones who wanted this identity for the Germans. Und dann haben sie dann danach recherchiert, woher kam die deutsche Sprache. Und dann haben sie entdeckt, die deutsche Sprache ist, also ähnelt die Sprache aus Indien, also Sanskrit. So German language has come from the eastern part of the world. Then they started doing research on German. That is where the study of German philology, study of language and origins of language, and everything there is to do with language started.
Sir, what is इसका फिर संस्कृत से क्या लेना देना है संस्कृत लिपि?
They found out that they have a common root. There's a common language from where Sanskrit and German originated. It goes back to the
And what is that common root, sir?
Indo-European group of languages. They both belong to the same family. And there's a Proto-European language. I don't want to do that history of linguistics now. So they had a common root. They both belong to the Indo-European group of languages. People normally mistake that and say German has come from Sanskrit. Das stimmt nicht. They have a common ancestor.
That was I was about to say, because बहुत सारे से टीचर्स से पहले जो बोलते थे अगर संस्कृत आती तो जर्मन तो आ ही जाएगी.
हाँ, वो इसलिए क्योंकि स्ट्रक्चर वाइज ग्रामर के स्ट्रक्चर्स के हिसाब से they are similar. They are similar. So accusative case, dative case, all that is there in German also. But what many teachers forget is Sanskrit has 8 cases.
And here we have only 4.
Yeah. Then Sanskrit also has ekvachan, dvivachan, bahuvachan. Whereas German only has singular and plural.
Right. So they are not the common languages then?
No, this is later on it changed. English is also a Germanic language.
Yeah.
Okay.
English has also come from the same roots, not French. French has got its roots in Latin.
Okay.
So then in the language tree it all split up. So the Proto-European and the old languages, they are much, much different. You will not be able to recognize those words. Es gibt einige Wörter, die in Sanskrit gibt, die wir auch in Deutsch oder im Englischen finden. Zum Beispiel das Wort Rad, das Rad, Wheel. Das Rad, die Räder. Das Rad, die Räder. So when you look at the word comes from Rat. Ta-da, it's the same sound. Ra, ta-da.
But sir, Rath is a Hindi word, no?
Sanskrit. Hindi also derives its words, many words from Sanskrit. Radha.
Okay.
So the original meaning of Rath was wheel, not the chariot. wheel. Then the extended meaning of the wheel was used of something being transported using wheels. So from there, the word went over to German as Rad, wheel. Similarly, Brata became Bruder.
Right,
Bra,
right.
bra, Bruder. Similarly with father.
Pita.
Pitra, yeah, from Pitra to Pater to Vater. Pitra, and from there it became, the sound changed to Pater, and that per changed to F. In Old English, it was still called Pater. Alma mater. You heard of the word alma mater?
Yeah,
Yes,
Shweta,
sir.
alma mater.
Right. So where does this word alma mater comes from? Matra, mater, mater, yeah?
Elder?
Mother.
Mother.
Mater is
Master.
mother. Alma mater.
Sir, in English, we call father as pater as well.
The old one. Yes, of course you do. Paternity नहीं होता क्या?
हाँ,
Maternity and paternity. फिर
हाँ. Okay, okay.
the words are still there. They still exist. So if you know the origins of the words, it is that much more of an advantage, and sehr großer Vorteil, die Bedeutung eines Wortes zu erschließen. Very easy. So when I do these word puzzles, it's easy for me to guess a word by using this knowledge of the original meaning. I enjoy looking at word meanings. Once you know that, your vocabulary increases. Yeah, for example, if you look at the word Rex, auf Deutsch, also auf Lateinisch heißt es Rex. Yeah, let me make it bigger here. Also Rex. Auf Lateinisch bedeutet Rex König, King. It means king.
Rex means king.
Yeah. Latin. From this word Rex, you have words like the feminine, Regina, queen. The Queen of England is a Regina. From here you have the German word also, Regie. You also have the German word regulieren. All from this root here. Feminine, this is masculine, this is feminine. Rex, Regina, Regie, regulieren. See? Regie is director. You have to direct something. Regie, direction of the film. He's the one who's giving all the orders and controlling. Regulieren. You also have the word regel. So you know one meaning, then it's very easy to go through the entire Wort familia, Wort Feld. Anything associated with reg, means rule, control. You can see many of these words. There's no ein Beispiel. So wenn man die Etymologie is the origin, die Herkunft der Wörter schon kennt, dann ist es einfacher, viele neue Wörter zu lernen. So wenn man so den Wortschatz verbreiten will, da muss man die hintere Bedeutung verstehen. They're all part of the same word field. They're all associated with that. So it's easy to come up with a massive vocabulary. And then, like I said, these people were searching for their words and origins. So zusammen haben sie dann auch ein Wörterbuch geschrieben, deutsches Wörterbuch. And believe it or not, the work that was started by Brüder Grimm in 1822, 23, around that time, was recently officially closed about 20 years ago, or less than 20 years back. And Deutsches Wörterbuch. The massive collection of loads of words. I don't know how many volumes it is, 10 volumes or 20 volumes or 25 volumes. A massive number. This one, I think, is 1954, if I see. Yeah. What is it? 1854. And yeah, this and gar nicht sicher. I don't have Grimm's Wörterbuch with me, but I'd like to possess that. But it's expensive, is what I was told. Yeah, 1851? 1951. So, erster Band. First volume. Okay, so these stories are available on the net. These fairy tales auf Deutsch, natürlich. Es gibt viele auf Deutsch. Und man kann diese Filme, einige sind Zeichentrickfilme, Zeichentrick animated. Ja, so einige dieser Märchen sind diese Zeichentrickfilme, die können wir auch im Internet, auf YouTube sehen. So we also have some Parikatha, we also have fables. Aesop's fables are very famous in Europa. Bei uns, das ist Panchatantra. The difference between a fable and a Märchen. Ein Märchen hat ein Happy Ending. Man liest das und man genießt das. Aber eine Fabel hat immer eine Lehre. It always comes with a moral at the end. You know the story about the fox and the grapes, all of us, we know that. पढ़ा है story वो?
Fox and grapes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it is trying to hit the grapes, jumping.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, sir.
But it does not get the grapes.
Yeah.
And in the end, it goes away saying what?
It gives up.
Yeah, it gives up. But what? And it says something. That is the moral of the story. From there, we have a moral. The fox says, the grapes are sour. So when you use this phrase today, the grapes are sour, it means when you have not got what you want, you say angur khatte hain. When you say the grapes are sour, the Trauben sind sauer, because you have not got what you want. Yeah, and it's become a part of everyday language, this kind of morals from there. There's so many such fable, even in Panchatantra is full of them. So those are also fables. They were, I think, narrated by Pandit Vishnudat Sharma. He narrated these stories. They are in 5 books. And each book has got plenty of small stories. So he narrated these stories to the sons of a king. I forget his name now. And through these stories, he educated the princess. I think 4 boys or 5 boys. He educated them all. And this education was not ABCD or Pythagoras theorem or the diameter of a wire or something. It was about Lebenserfahrungen. So Panchatantra also I have somewhere in German. But I read the English version ages back when I was at school. Das ist das Interessanteste hier. Immersion. And that is the last part here. So these 4 I'll send to you in a short while. Abhi ka abhi bhej sakta hu main. But I'll send them to you. Rotkäppchen, Rumpelstilzchen, Frosch und Hänsel und Gretel. Der Froschkönig. So, das sind die vereinfachte Versionen. Okay? So, any questions as of now? Bevor wir an die Arbeit gehen, und zwar hier.
Okay.
Were you able to have a look at this?
Ja.
Und habt ihr auch etwas gefunden als Lösung? Bei Nummer
Ja.
6 zum Beispiel verblassen, verschwinden, undeutlich werden, blass werden. Was ist blass werden? Blass.
Blass werden wir haben gelernt, diese Wort. Ja. Blass werden.
Sein Gesicht ist blass. Vor Angst ist sein Gesicht blass. What is this blass? Also hat so viel Angst, sein Gesicht ist jetzt blass.
Lost.
Nein, also Gesicht
मुंह
ist...
गुस्से से लाल हो जाना मुंह
Ja, aber das ist blass hier, nicht rot.
मुंह फुला लेना
Nein, was ist blass? Das ist eine Farbe.
Blass ist eine Farbe.
Wenn man Angst bekommt, wird das Gesicht blass.
ब्राउन हो जाना चेहरा
Okay.
पीला पेल पड़ जाना नहीं
Peel. Pale.
चेहरा फीका पड़ जाना. Pale.
Okay,
It turns
okay.
pale. It becomes white.
पेल
It becomes white. This is not visible on our faces, mainly because our skin color is very dark. So you can't see this. But when you look at any European, all these phrases have come from the European side. So when a European is afraid or is shocked, when anybody is totally shocked, the blood goes out of the face. वो पूरा एकदम फीका पड़ जाता है. It becomes white. You can see that in Europeans. When they become red, when they become angry, the blood rushes to the cheeks and the cheeks are more red. So most of these have come in from the Europeans, these Vedungen. So blass werden to become pale.
So
Blass
pale,
werden-
yellowish, no?
No,
Yellowish.
pale. No,
Mhm.
become pale. Fade literally. The blood rushes out of the face. Not comes in, but rushes out. Goes out of the face. Und blass werden und verblassen, die sind Synonyme. Yeah, this is blass werden und that is verblassen. So same meaning. Similarly, undeutlich werden. To become totally unclear. You start stuttering, what you say is undeutlich, is nicht klar.
Yeah.
Because you're you have a sense of fear around you now. It could also be nervousness, by the way. So the word that is missing or is falsch here, verschwinden. It means disappear. Nicht mehr da. Also nicht sichtbar sein. Okay?
Okay.
So you see there some of them are Wortfelder. That means they belong to the same meaning group, broadly speaking. They all can be put together as a group. So similarly here, Eindruck, Empfindung, Wahrnehmung, Anschein. So what is not right here?
Eindruck, impression, Empfindung, sensation,
Yeah, well done.
Wahrnehmung or Anschein. So was better at Wahrnehmung? Truth. War.
Yeah and no. Yes and no.
Anschein,
You're,
apparent.
you're close there. You're close. You're close. We are very close.
Anschein is apparent.
Yeah.
Apparent, Anschein.
Yes. Outward appearance.
Sorry?
Outward appearance.
Outward appearance.
So it's what you see basically is unshine.
Okay. Yeah, outlook.
Huh.
So Anschein.
Unshine. Correct. Eindruck, Empfindung, Wahrnehmung, they're all inner feelings. Correct?
Yeah.
Wahrnehmung means to perceive something. Perception.
Okay.
Empfindung is your feeling, again inside. Eindruck, impression, again inside.
Yeah.
And then unshine is what is shown to you. The outside appearance, unshine. So unshine doesn't fit here.
Sir, Wahrnehmung?
Perception. Perception. Your own perception. So it's what you process inside. So I think Nummer 8 haben wir gestern gemacht. Dauerhaft.
Yeah. Real.
Real und reell. So here this real, real, one meaning is also, I told you that yesterday if you recall.
Yeah. Nice. How to we can expression we can man.
Real und real.
Real. Here real.
Yeah, real.
Real.
And then other is real. Mit ein L, here doppel L, real. But real is mit einem L. Okay?
Yeah.
So which one? Yeah, real is the one that is wrong. Yeah. It doesn't fit here.
Sir, was bedeutet real? Real.
Real.
Is it real?
Ehrlich. Honest. Real.
Real. Okay. Honest.
Honest, upright, straightforward, frank. Okay, what about this one? This should be easy. This is the easiest one. Unbewusst, automatisch, instinktiv.
Sir, automatisch.
Geplant.
Automatisch.
No, geplant. Geplant.
Automatisch, sir.
Yeah, geplant is the odd one out.
But automatic is
Unbewusst is
automatic, you know.
automatic.
Correct.
Unbewusst subconscious and instinctive is your instinctive. Is your instinct basically.
So all these
So
three,
automatically
they're happening without your doing them. You're doing this, right? You're not thinking what you're doing. So geplant is the odd one out. See, the other three, they happen automatically.
Yeah.
There is no conscious, there is no conscious thinking involved in unbewusst, automatisch und instinktiv. Right? So there's nothing conscious being done here. It all happens on its own. For example, if you've got an itch on the forehead, you will do this without thinking. You start itching yourself or itching yourself here. Because if you're scratching yourself, this is nicht geplant. No? The scratchen is nicht geplant. You don't tell yourself, my ear is itching and I must take my finger, my forefinger, put it here, and then I must do this. Nein, das ist nicht geplant. Das ist automatisch, instinktiv, unbewusst. So geplant passt hier nicht. And the last one here, Ablauf, Prozess, Ursache, Vorgang.
Ursache.
Ursache. Well done.
Yeah, ich weiß alle diese Worte.
Yeah. So can you explain now?
Ja, Ablauf bedeutet ein Prozessflow in
Process. Das ist
Sequence.
Process. Ablauf ist
Ja,
Process.
ja. Und der Prozess ist Prozess. Und
Tagesablauf.
Vorgang bedeutet auch.
Out process.
Ja,
Vorgang ist Out process.
ja. Und Ursache ist eine Gründe, warum es
Anderen
fehlt.
Grund. Genau.
Ja.
Genau.
So, wie sagt man
Sir, was
Ursache auf Englisch?
Reason.
Root cause?
Reason.
Root cause?
Reason is just as good. It's an easier one.
Ja,
So
okay.
kann ich einfach sagen, also die Ursache für diese Arbeit verstehe ich nicht. Can I say so?
Yeah, the reason for doing this work. Is that what you
right,
want to
sir.
say?
Yes, sir. I don't know the reason of doing this work, so ich weiß die
Right.
Ursache.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that can be used. Also in the sense of
Sir,
warum.
Okay.
Sir, kann man sagen, was ist die Ursache, See einzumachen?
Nein.
Nee, dann
Nein.
can you just say what is the seal? That's the objective, not the reason.
Okay,
You're looking at
objective.
the objective of doing. And you have to say
Sir,
objective. So,
Achal.
yeah.
Ja.
Unterschied.
Das war jetzt vorbei. Jetzt brauchen wir keinen Grund zu wissen, ja.
Ja, gut, Aditi. Sehr gut. So
Sir,
it's like, you do your entire Granth, Mahabharata and Ramayana. So, like, पढ़ा क्यों हमने?
रामायण हो गई है.
Yeah, but Varun.
That's why. That's how Zagesh.
Yeah, but at least you're not asking her, but Sita kya lati thi Ram ki? That's also you're not asking. No? Okay.
In that context.
Yeah. Okay, so here
Sir,
haben wir.
Sir, eine Frage,
Ja,
Sir. So,
ja.
was genau Unterschied zwischen Vorgang und Prozess?
Vorgang is something that is going on. Process is the foreign word. Vorgang is a German word.
Vorgang ist ein German Wort. Ja, ich habe diese beide Wörter in meinem Arbeit, Vorgang und Prozess.
Es kommt darauf an, ob du dann ein bisschen eingebildet klingen wirst oder ganz normal. If you want to show off a bit, then use the word process. It's a foreign word.
Okay.
You want to be more German, use Vorgang. Or Ablauf. Both are synonyms.
Okay.
Ablauf is the flow.
Okay.
Yeah, Vorgang literally is how it is done step by step.
Okay. Okay, klar. Ja, klar,
Yeah?
danke.
Okay. So now let's look at this Radiosendung über das Gedächtnis. I'll play this audio to you. Now there are certain Teilthemen, über die der Experte spricht. And these are the Teilthemen. So let's have a look at them. Bedeutung des Vergessens, Aufbau des Gehirns, Krankheiten des Gedächtnisses, Speichern von Wissen im Gedächtnis, Lernpausen. Also beim Lernen macht man dann kleinere Pausen auch. Da kann man etwas besser aneignen. You can acquire things better if you have small pauses. Don't puso everything at the same time. You can't stuff everything at one go. You have to take small pauses, wait for it to go in, and then you start learning more. And then Merkhilfen. Merkhilfe bedeutet, you make small notes which will help you remember etwas zu merken. For example, die Präpositionen mit dem Akkusativ, oh fudge. Also ich würde das normalerweise vorschlagen. Oh fudge. Fudge ist Eis. It's an ice cream fudge. Schokoladenfudge. So when you say oh fudge, die sind Präpositionen mit dem Akkusativ. Ohne, für, durch, gegen, entlang. So solche Lernhilfen, also Merkhilfen, helfen dem Gedächtnis oder helfen dem Menschen, etwas länger im Gedächtnis zu speichern. So this expert talks about it. So let's check this out. 40 page, welche Seite ist es? 130, 40. Where is that now? Oh, it's given this way. My God. Oh, this is in the Arbeitsbuch. Oh, Abi is not here. Schade. He has that audio with him. This is nicht das Lehrbuch. Okay, we'll have to leave this then. I'll see if I can get hold of it tomorrow. I'll get hold of this tomorrow. This is the Arbeitsbuch. Oh. Yeah, I'll play this for you tomorrow. I need that audio thing going, so we'll do that tomorrow. Kein Problem. Okay, hier gibt es einige Sprichwörter. Also eigentlich Erklärungen zu den Sprichwörtern.
Oh, super. Das klingt interessant.
Das sind Erklärungen. Die Sprichwörter sind hier. Ohne Fleiß kein Preis. Geteilte Freude ist doppelte Freude. Frisch gewagt ist halb gewonnen. Aus Schaden wird man klug.
So, ohne Fleiß keine Preis, no pain, no gain.
Wait. I don't want that meaning there, like that. Ich brauche das hier. Okay, no message. Ja. Hier muss man dann alles ordnen. So, welches Sprichwort ist Nummer 1? Wenn man aus den Fehlern seiner Vergangenheit lernt, macht man ähnliche Fehler nicht noch einmal.
Aus Schaden wird man klug.
Schaden wird man klug.
Jawohl. Yeah. So when you make a mistake, don't repeat the mistake, because that mistake should teach you something new.
Make you wise.
Make you wiser. So don't make that mistake. Don't repeat that mistake. Make a new one. That's okay. But don't repeat the mistake.
Ja.
Okay, wie ist es mit Nummer 2?
So, Schaden.
So, geteilte Freude ist die doppelte Freude.
Welche? Ja, okay, das ist Nummer 2, genau. Genau. Ja. Also wenn man andere an seinem Erfolg teilhaben lässt, macht einen das glücklicher. Do you know the opposite of this also? In fact, in the other sense also, it's a positive meaning.
So, yeah, right. If you share your sorrows, it will get half.
Yes. Geteilte Trauer is halbierte Trauer.
Okay.
Shared sorrow is halved sorrow. So joy divided is joy doubled. That's the original proverb, and the other one is a created one. As an Erfindung.
सर हम इसमें क्या कर रहे हैं अभी ये लाइंस डिस्कस कर रहे हैं
Peter? Yeah. These are proverbs here.
अभी हम ये पैराग्राफ है इसको डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि these are proverbs.
Yeah, and we're finding the meanings of the proverbs here. These proverbs, the meanings are given here. So we are looking at the proverbs A, B, C, D, and we are trying to put them what goes where. Yeah, Nummer 3. So when man reaches, yeah.
So geteilte Freude is like a sharing, caring, something like that. I'm just relating to English.
Shared joy is joy doubled.
Shared joy doubled.
So wenn man andere an seinem Erfolg teilhaben lässt, macht einen das glücklicher. So when you share your happiness with somebody, your happiness doubles.
Okay.
Because there's somebody else
And
sharing
sir,
it with.
and sir, was haben Sie auf die Sorrow gesagt, auf Deutsch?
Oh, that's an invented one. Geteilte Trauer ist halbierte Trauer. Trauer is sadness, no?
Yes, sir.
Sorrow.
Einmal bitte, geteilte.
Trauer.
Okay, sir.
Trauer, sorrow.
Ist
Halbierte. Or geteilter Kummer, you can say. But geteilter Trauer is the one that I would use. Kummer is also possible. Der Kummer, geteilter Kummer, ist halbierter Kummer. Der Kummer oder die Trauer. Either you can use.
Kruer. Krumer.
Kummer. Yeah, Kummer. Der Kummer. Kummer. Okay. So, Nummer 3. Wenn man sich anstrengt, kommt man zum gewünschten Erfolg.
So, ohne Fleiß
Au.
kein Preis.
Schaden wird man Glück.
Jawohl.
Yeah, ohne Fleiß, keine Preis.
Ohne Fleiß kein Preis. So, you have to make the effort to gain success. And Anil, du hast das auch ganz kurz zusammengefasst. Ohne Fleiß kein Preis.
Yeah, no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And the best is for that is the example of the Olympians, all the people who came back with medals. All the Olympians who came back with medals, they had to put in a lot of effort, hard work to win. So ohne Fleiß, kein Preis. Yeah. And number 4, the last one is obvious.
Ausschaden.
Nein.
Nein.
Fish give. They say.
Ja, say, frisch gewagt ist halb gewonnen. Frisch gewagt ist halb gewonnen.
So what does
So,
that mean?
wenn man Mut zum Risiko hat, wird man mit Erfolg belohnt.
When
when you
one
look
has
at
the
this-
courage to take the
When you
risk,
have courage to take
then
risks.
one,
then you will be rewarded with success. So here
Okay.
the verb is wagen. That means you dare to do something. Frisch gewagt. Frisch
Immer
in the sense of,
bekommen.
yeah, frisch gewagt. Wagen, don't confuse it with vegan. This is wagen. Also ich wage zu sagen. I dare to say. So if you dare to do
So,
something.
bargain
the French
convention
meaning is fresh, no?
No, don't translate literally. Frisch has other meaning. Frisch gewagt is the one who is ready to dare.
Okay.
If you dare to do something, you won half the battle. Is halb gewonnen. So आधी जीत तो वहीं पर है.
डर के आगे जीत.
So here this gewagt
your-
is not the PP form of wagen, huh?
Yeah. To dare.
So and it takes sein or
का
haben.
अकेला मीनिंग ही तो डेयर है.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Chal. Aditi, you
wagen
want to
takes sein or haben.
Wagen is with haben, no?
Sir, wagen takes sein or haben.
Haben.
Okay, sir.
Haben.
Haben. So when do
Haben. Yeah.
when do frisch
Hast.
wohnen?
Hast.
Yeah,
Wagst
okay.
du etwas am Anfang?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then you have to put it in that when do.
Okay. Waksu etwas
Okay.
am Anfang. Then becomes
Yeah.
to the default.
See, I can give you a story for this. A very simple story which I heard very recently. This was narrated by Navjot Singh Sidhu, that cricketer who retired na long time back. Abhi he is a
Yes, sir. Yes,
Punjab
sir.
ministry में कुछ है वो.
यस सर, वो हेड बना है
हाँ जी,
वहाँ की
sir.
कैबिनेट का.
So he gave a story of his team in the West Indies. India had gone to play in the West Indies, and those were the days when West Indies had this very very fast bowlers. तो उनके सारे बॉलें जो है मुंह के हाइट पे आती थी, सर के ऊपर से जाती थी, चोट वोट लगती थी. So Sidhu was an opening bat and he was going into bat, and Sachin Tendulkar was with him. So he said, when I was going into the field, I told this Sachin. Sachin is younger to him, junior also. You know, बहुत dangerous लग रहा है यार इसको. How will we play this bowling? It's very dangerous here, and the pitch is all very funny. So I don't know कब चोट लग जाए, जिंदा निकलेंगे बाहर. So I believe Sachin just looked at him, and then you know he had a very childish voice. Even later on, he still had that childish voice. So he told Navjot Singh Sidhu, "खेलेंगे रे."
What?
"खेलेंगे रे." He dares to play. Unless you खेल, how will you win? So then he went. I believe they went on to play. And the first over, which Navjot Singh Sidhu faced, he told Sachin Tendulkar at the end of the over, you know, after the ball hits the ground, it is coming very fast. बहुत तेजी से आ रहा उठ के. So Sachin Tendulkar did not say anything. So it was his turn to face the bowling. The bowler came in to bowl. Sachin Tendulkar ran towards the bowler and hit the ball. So Sidhu asked him, क्या कर रहा है? Then I believe he told him, तुमने तो बोला था बॉल पढ़ने के बाद तेज आ रही है, मैंने उसको पढ़ने ही नहीं दिया. That is your daring. Frisch gewagt ist halb gewonnen. You dare to do something, you won half the battle.
Okay, sir.
You have to dare it first. चल मैं करता हूँ. Unless you, yeah.
Sir, fresh
No,
Luft.
No. That is that other meaning of frisch which you have learned. Here, frisch gewagt is the one who dares first.
Fresh period who dares.
Yeah, the one who dares first. You
First,
have to
fresh.
dare. You have to take the first step. I'll do it.
Okay. Fresh daring, something
Yes,
like that.
you have to do that.
Okay.
You have to be bold and dare. That frisch is in the sense of boldness. मैं करूँगा. Okay? So, nice proverbs, some of them.
Yeah. Very clear.
Then the idea here actually was to do these when sentences. Okay? Und ich habe, wir haben diese Übung auch ein bisschen früher gemacht, ein paar Seiten früher. You remove this when from the sentence. In place of when, you put this lernt at the beginning. It is still a conditional Satz. Even without the when, it will be a conditional sentence. For example, अगर बारिश हुई तो मैं नहीं आऊंगा. अगर बारिश हुई तो नहीं आऊंगा. Remove that अगर. बारिश हुई नहीं आऊंगा. हुई बारिश तो नहीं आऊंगा. So this structure is there even in our language. अगर वो नहीं आया तो मैं भी नहीं आऊंगा. Remove the अगर. नहीं आया वो तो मैं भी नहीं आऊंगा. Right? It's like खाएगा नहीं तो सेहत कैसे बनेगी. खाएगा नहीं तो ठीक कैसे होगा. अगर तू नहीं खाएगा, we are not using this agar. The conditional preposition oder die Konjunktion oder Konnektor fehlt. So auch hier können wir oder bilden wir diese Sätze ohne diesen Konnektor. So hier Satz Nummer 1. Lernt man aus den Fehlern seiner Vergangenheit, macht man ähnliche Fehler, etc. etc. Similarly here. Can you give me the sentence?
Lässt man andere
Ja.
lässt man andere an seinem Erfolg teilhaben, macht einen das glücklicher.
That's it. Here. Separable verb, careful.
Strengt man sich an?
Finished. That's all. That's all. And here?
Hat man
Ja.
Hat man Mut zum Risiko, wird man mit Erfolg belohnt.
See, it's so simple. So
Sir,
simple.
Sir, vierte Satz, wenn beginn mit hat, das bedeutet Fragensatz, richtig?
Nein. Da gibt es ein Komma und der Satz geht zum Ende mit dem Hauptsatz.
Okay.
Das ist ein Nebensatz und der Hauptsatz zusammen. Der Satz ist nicht zu Ende. The sentence is not over and it's connecting two sentences. Da gibt es ein Komma, das zwei Sätze verbindet. So it's not a Fragesatz.
Okay.
So that is what we have to be careful about. Don't mistake it for something else. Okay, so look at this here. This is the other interesting part. You can convert all these, or at least this part here, into a Wenn-Satz. Fehlend will become fehlen, verb. Vergessen als Nomen will become vergessen als Verb. Aufgestellten Plan, ohne vorher aufgestellten Plan. This will be aufstellen. And auswendig lernen will automatically be auswendig and then lernen. Lernt man als Verb. So, for example, bei fehlender Konzentrationsfähigkeit sollten Sie eine Pause einlegen. So if your concentration, capabilities of concentration are missing, then you should take a break. Das ist nicht nur beim Lernen, sondern auch beim Arbeiten. So this can be expressed in this way. Wenn die Konzentrationsfähigkeit fehlt, sollten Sie eine Pause einlegen. So we converted this fehlender Partizip 1 into a verb, fehlen, and put it here at the end of the subordinate clause. Am Ende des Nebensatzes haben wir hier das Verb anhängt. The second one is a variation of the same thing. Ohne wenn bilden wir den gleichen Satz. Fehlt die Konzentrationsfähigkeit, sollten Sie eine Pause einlegen. So if you look at this one, for example, let's try the second one. This is also very easy. Beim häufigen Vergessen von Namen und Zahlen.
Wenn man
It's easy.
vergisst,
Häufig.
wenn man vergisst häufig, wenn man häufig von Namen und Zahlen vergisst,
etc. That's it. Helfen manchmal, etc. ठीक है? Well done, Achal.
häufig vergisst von
That's it.
Namen und Zahlen.
Ja, wenn man häufig von Namen und Zahlen vergisst, Komma,
hilft man.
helfen manchmal, etc. उसको तो छूना ही नहीं.
Okay, sir.
Ja, similarly here. Also, ohne vorher aufgestellten Plan. What is this here?
When
Ja,
um, when man vorher
well done.
Plan
Ja, wenn man vorher. Nee. एक मिनट. Langsam.
aufstellt.
Nein, Moment. Warte. You have to use that owner has to come in the meaning somewhere.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine. When owner
Ha. ना
निश्ट
Keep it
आएगा
simple.
इसकी जगह.
By. Sir, by?
अरे यार, you've forgotten your old grammar, your old A1, A2 grammar. Wenn man vorher keinen Plan aufstellt.
Okay.
Simple. Somebody had come. Ja. Wenn man keinen Plan aufstellt, also wenn man vorher keinen Plan aufstellt, ist eine Prüfungsvorbereitung nicht so effektiv. It's so simple. Why you can't put it with owner? The moment you say owner, it's a preposition. When you have a preposition, why noun chahiye? Then you'll end up with all kinds of confusion. Ohne Aufstellung eines Plans. We don't want that. So keep it simple. बहुत easy है ये. What about the last one? Beim Auswendiglernen.
Wenn man auswendig
Sir, wenn man auswendig lernt.
That's it.
lernt.
Ja, wenn man auswendig lernt, Komma, ist das hilfreich, Komma.
Second का lernt man auswendig.
Wendig, ohne wenn, ne? Yeah, sehr gut. So you know this word here? Mnemotechniken?
Memory technique.
Yeah, memory techniques.
मेरी तो सबसे ज्यादा खराब है.
Hey, it's a question of associating. How you associate things with objects and stuff. Okay. So, chalo, let's take a pause here. So here we have also been told we müssen eine Pause einlegen.
Genau.
Tomorrow there are 3-4 exercises left, not more. We can finish these tomorrow. And this Participial group is also here, which I think Anil was very fond of this. Abgesehen von, ehrlich gesagt, wir haben gut gelernt. So what does it mean, ehrlich gesagt, wir haben gut gelernt?
Yeah, honestly.
Honestly said. Sach bole to. Okay, so these kind of Participial gruppen. Let's do a few of these exercises here. And das machen wir morgen.
Yeah.
So we should be able to finish these. They're very, very easy. This is a revision. This is a revision of Su plus infinity.
Okay.
That's it. We are done with the syllabus. This part we don't have. We don't have to do this. It's all about Germany and that context, so it doesn't work. And these are the your text Zusammenfassung. You read this text. There are 5 or 6 of them. 5, I think. No. 11 texts are here. Out of these 11 texts, you have to now choose which of these 4 Zusammenfassungen fits. There are 4 here.
Okay.
Which of these four fits for those small 11 texts as a whole? There are 11 subheadings to this text called the 50er Jahre. It's a very, very long thing here. So I'll send you this Märchen. Und wir treffen uns morgen die übliche Zeit, Samstag.
Sir, einen Moment, Sir. Hier 50er Jahr. 50er.
50er. 50. 50.
50.
And then the ER. So once you add something after IG, it's pronounced as G. So 50er Jahre.
50er Jahre. Okay.
Leipziger Straße. Die Leipziger Straße.
Ja, Sir, ich habe diese Problem in Nummer in audio in Huron. Okay, I think in one of the exam I confused 50er bedeutet 50 oder 15. 15th or 50th. 50.
Yeah, one moment. Yeah. Yagi, are you just done? Hello. Hello.
So, Anchal? Anchal?
Yeah.
Aditi is back. Yeah, Achal is da. Yeah.
Yeah, Anchal is there.
Noch etwas, Anil? Noch etwas?
Ja, 50er Jahre, 60er Jahre, 70er Jahre.
Ja, genau. Das ist das Jahrzehnt. It's a decade. The 50s, the 60s, the 70s. That's a decade.
It's like in English, 60th year.
Yeah,
Something.
60s. 60s means 1960 to 1969.
Okay. Oh, it means 1950s. It means here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Not 50 years. It's not 50 years.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, one moment.
Hi.
चलो ठीक है मैं अभी दे रहा हूँ ना एक मिनट हाँ
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gut dann. Einen schönen Tag. Alle, macht's gut, bleibt gesund, bleibt munter, ohne Stress.